For this stop on my road trip, I was visiting the River Tyne, and I was going to be getting very cold and wet, but not in the way you might expect. The Tyne was the boundary between the counties of Northumberland and Durham, up in the northeast of England. These days it's more complicated, but historically, the big river marked the border. And while I started this video on the north side of the river in Northumberland, the reason I was there is over in Durham. In 1968, the Tyne Road Tunnel opened to the public, with the second tunnel added in 2011. I parked up at the tunnel headquarters, and I was there for three things. First, so the team could show off behind the scenes of the tunnel. Second, to learn about a fire suppression system that I've never heard of before. And third, to stand under that system while it was being tested. So I put on safety gear, and the first stop was the control room.
Come in.
Oh, blimey.
This is the control room.
You have a proper mission control here. That's David, he's the operations manager, and his team were watching more than 200 cameras inside the tunnels, helped by an automatic system that detects if anything's out of place.
We'll get the vehicle coming in here in the northbound tunnel. We'll wait for one to come through.
Okay.
Nice blue truck there.
Yep. Big
White
truck.
background.
Yep.
And then it will come along to here.
Oh, so it's always.
And we follow the vehicle all the way along.
As soon as it
Joins
starts
up.
to leave one camera, it joins the next
It
one.
will go all the way along to the very end and comes back round on the second row.
Right. The two tunnels are very different in construction. The first was dug by hand and by machine, 15 metres between the top of the tunnel and the riverbed. The second is an immersed tube, constructed on land, sunk down into a trench, sealed up and drained. Then the trench is filled in and covered in a lot of rocks. There he is.
Approximately 2.5, 3 minutes to get through the tunnel.
Most of the time, of course, it's all quiet in the control room, but that control room is there for a reason.
We approximately have between 7 to 15 breakdowns a month.
Okay.
But then at the weekend, we might have a drunken person trying to walk through the tunnel.
Right.
We have animals trying to get through the tunnel. It can be vast and varied.
That's more often than I'd think.
So we have a target time of 10 minutes
Yep.
to try and get that breakdown out. At rush hour, there's a calculation that for every minute that the tunnel's closed, that's 1 mile of traffic jam outside.
Right. And
So-
every time you have to hit I assume there is a button which I'm not allowed to point my camera at somewhere, that is the emergency
Have a
stop.
look here.
Oh, okay. I actually was allowed to point my cameras at the safety systems, but I did agree to let the tunnels team look at this video before it goes out, and if you see anything that's blurred or marked as removed, that is for security. They don't have any editorial control over the words I'm using or the story I'm telling, though. There were big emergency buttons on that screen. 3 of them, all labelled stop, and Jack, controller on shift, said that hopefully they never have to use them.
We tend not to press the big red ones.
No, if you do, something's gone wrong there.
It just scares you.
Jack also told me about the ventilation in the tunnel, which is going to be important later. There are jet fans mounted on the roof to keep the air moving, but they're not always needed.
What you'll see is something called the piston effect, which when there's quite a few vehicles in there, it naturally draws fumes out of the tunnel.
Okay.
Lower times of traffic, such as now or through the night, the piston effect decreases, so you rely
Right.
more on the help of the fans.
Stick a pin in that piston effect. We'll come back to it. But with the sunset and light fading, we walked out to the tunnel itself with a few other folks from the team in tow. We had to cross the road, which would normally be complicated, but they timed it well. There were 2 vehicles passing through with dangerous cargo on board, which meant the tunnels would be closed to any other traffic for just a couple of minutes. Those are the dangerous vehicles that were going through. Petrol by the looks of them. And they just asked, I've got to keep quiet while we're walking across. We were well outside rush hour. It was nearly 9 p.m, so that closure wasn't going to cause too much trouble. And it gave us a gap to get across without slowing anyone down. And there go the cars. Time to go into the tunnel, the oldest of the two, with one of the big ventilation chimneys looming in the distance. We were starting in what's called the escape gallery.
This is now hats, gloves. Yeah, it's a
Right.
hat and glove area.
Helmet on,
So just at the back of the knee.
helmet tightened. Got it. Thank you so much. That's very loud and very close.
You'll probably feel that wind, that positive pressure.
Oh, yes. The escape gallery is kept at positive pressure, air constantly forced in, because if something happens in the tunnel and people have to get out their cars and evacuate, that gallery needs to have clean air no matter what.
This is the big chimney.
Oh, that's the big chimney.
So, gloves on. As you go down, one at a time, and it's not very far, this one.
Yeah. The next stop was down a ladder into an area that the public definitely aren't allowed into, the service gallery.
You probably hear a few vehicles rumbling over our heads, but this is absolutely amazing. This is underneath the road deck, and you can see. I'm 6'5", so you can kind of work the distance out.
Yeah.
But you can hear the rumbling, especially when you get the trucks coming through.
Right.
That's going over our head, supporting stanchions either side of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And this is the void.
On the side were 4 big pipes, 2 for drainage and 2 for firefighting.
The one down below, the smaller one, is the mist system line. Mm-hmm. Right? And the mist system.
Oh, right, yeah.
So,
But that's not the same as the fire main.
That's not the same as the firemen. It's
Right.
2 different systems.
One for when the firefighters turn up and need to plug in,
Yeah.
and one for the automatic system.
Yeah.
The mist system was the real reason I was there. When I put out a call for video ideas for the series, the Tyne Tunnels folks got in touch asking if I wanted to look behind the scenes and see their fire suppression system, the first of its kind in Britain. And they suggested that I might want to stand underneath it when they were doing a test. So I had that to look forward to. Also, the new person on camera there is Barry, who's worked at the Tyne Tunnels for 27 years. He wasn't actually wearing a mic because he was just going to be behind the camera, but turns out he was great. He had a lot of interesting things to say, and he said he was okay to appear now and then.
Now, when they're going to turn the mist system on, these are the valves that turn on.
He did take the box off to show those valves. To lock it off for maintenance, you have to turn the valve handle at the bottom right, and if you do that, you can't put the red box back on. You have to have that in that position before, if you've accidentally left it locked out.
This won't go on.
Right.
And then you'd know that it's not working, you know there's a problem. It also alarms in the control room.
Right, okay.
So
yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
The air in the service gallery was clean. I was expecting to be able to taste petrol fumes, but no, air is forced in, just like the escape gallery, which, by the way, wasn't part of the original construction.
But the escape gallery was put on later on.
Right.
Because there was a Mont Blanc tunnel disaster.
In 1999, a truck carrying flour and margarine caught fire in a tunnel under Mont Blanc on the French-Italian border. Flour is highly combustible, margarine is basically oil. The fire burned for days. 39 people died in the heat and smoke, and that disaster prompted safety upgrades to tunnels around the world. Cameras, ventilation, fire suppression systems, proper coordination and control, even closing the tunnel to other traffic for the couple of minutes that those petrol tankers were passing through. There's a saying that safety regulations are written in blood, and while you can never prevent every risk, you can certainly make a difference. We walked along the tunnel for quite a while, past the lowest point where any water would drain into a sump to be pumped back up and out, and then Barry led us into one of the crawl spaces, to where the fresh air was being pumped in from the other chimney. Well, I'm now old enough that I make noises while I'm doing that. That's fun. Oh, I can feel the fresh air from that.
That's what makes it nice and fresh in here.
Right.
Do you want to come in?
Absolutely. God, it's really difficult to explain what that feels like. It is a literal breath of fresh air in a place that was pretty fresh anyway, but it's sudden cold outdoor air coming. Oh my word. All right. So that is the duct that's bringing all the air in.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. And that's why we have the helmets. There was some clambering up ladders made of rungs that were just set into the wall.
I feel like a bloody 6'5" mole.
Oh, wow. That is a long way up. We are definitely not going up that.
Oh, I've just shut the
Good heavens. So that's right to the top of the chimney.
Yeah, that's right at the top.
Then it was back down, through the service gallery, up to the escape gallery, which does run all the way along. Obviously, we'd just gone underneath instead. There's a lot of mind your head signs here. Bah.
Watch your head coming here because it's pretty bad.
Yeah. There were 2 lanes of live traffic right next to us as we headed back out the tunnel and into the night, having made it to the historic county of Durham. These days, the whole area on both sides is called Tyne and Wear, but I'm going by historical definitions, and the equipment for the mist system, the thing I'm there to see, that's in Durham. And to get there, we had to cross the road again. So we've got red lights there, and the traffic is stopped. Red lights there, and the traffic is stopped. So this traffic lane is actually open right now, but we know that this is all safe because someone is blocking all the traffic on a rolling roadblock. There was a tunnel patrol vehicle coming through for the evening maintenance, travelling slowly and straddling both lanes southbound, which meant there was a big gap for us to walk across. Northbound, I think we delayed 2 cars by about 1 minute. Sorry if that was you.
Controllers put the red lights on, stop the traffic, make that pause, monitor through CCTV, we know where the gap is, on the radio to us, say to cross the road, release the traffic straight away, get everybody moving again.
And away they go.
It's efficient as that.
Then into the South Extract building, which has pumps, maintenance supplies, some of the backup power, and the water tank for the mist system. 200 tonnes of water ready to go. And we'll see that in just a moment. Here's some audio of me in the shower. I had a new razor, and that was my first time shaving with it. I didn't take video because I was in the shower. I've been using disposable razors all my life because that's what I started with, and I never thought to change that. I thought razor burn was just an inevitable part of shaving, but it's a design flaw. Most modern razors flex a bit and bend slightly, so the angle's a bit wrong, and it feels like you have to push harder. The manufacturers use workarounds like lubrication strips and double or triple or septuple blades, but the root cause is that the razor flexes. Henson Shaving sent me over their razor. It's designed by aerospace engineers, made to very precise tolerances and machined out of aluminium, so it's solid. First time I used it, first time ever using a razor like it, it was as good as the disposables. After a few shaves, when I got used to it, it was better. I'm getting less razor burn and I'm not buying expensive disposables that I just throw away. And I assumed Henson was going to be some subscription lock-in thing, but no, the blades are the international standard double-edge ones. If you want to use a different brand of blade, you can. Henson just make a very solid, very good razor that will last a long time. If you scan the QR code or follow the link in the description, you can buy one, and they'll also add in 100 free blades, which will last most people years. Enough dallying around, the South Extract building and the mist system's water tank. Oh, that is the tank, just there.
The tank there, regular mains water. It's not run off from the Tyne. It's regular mains water. It's got to be clean and filtered.
Because people could get hit with it.
It's so big, it's a nice life ring.
There's a life ring.
Oh, I like the life ring.
Yeah, because someone could fall in.
Absolutely.
And they might not know how to swim. I mean, hopefully if they're here, they do.
Well, look at the height of it.
During the summer, we'll have a cocktail party in last week life rings.
Just to be clear, that was a joke. They do not have pool parties in the water tank. It's very cold, dark, deep mains water. And because that tank has to be kept filled at all times, it has a float valve. And look, there is an alternative term for a float valve, and we're all just going to have to agree not to laugh at the next few seconds of this video, okay? We're all going to be professional. Oh,
So the water comes in.
that's
Just a ball cock. for
That's
your
a ball
system.
cock.
It's a ball cock.
that's the same as you'd find in a toilet.
It's the biggest ball cock you've probably ever seen in your life.
Just don't. It's just a height measurement. When that drops, this valve opens.
Absolutely.
When the mist system's activated, they turn on 3 fire zones, the one that fires in and one either side, for a total of about 75 metres. And for that, the mist system uses 2,000 litres of water per minute, which is a lot, but not as much as sprinklers or a deluge system. It's designed to suppress a fire, give people time to get out, and give emergency services time to arrive. And to pump that water, how much? Oh, I thought the pump had just started there. That's just
jockey pump.
That's the little one, yeah. The jockey pump keeps everything at a safe pressure, ready to go. It's meant to fire up regularly. For a moment, I thought the system had actually been activated, but no, that would have been much louder. There's a pipe from the tank.
So it comes through here, and we have 2 booster pumps. The booster pumps They're not there to give it pressure. They're there to push water through a filter, because the water has to be very pure, because these pumps are very precise.
2,000 litres of water a minute through a single filter, or about a bathtub every 6 seconds. That's a good filter. And then 33 pumps. Those aren't for different parts of the system. When that thing fires off, all of those pumps are ready to run.
Yeah, and they'll give 130 to 140 bar worth of pressure.
That's not 140 psi. They're using metric units, 140 bar. Mains water pressure, the stuff that comes out of your tap, is maybe 3 or 4. 140 bar is what you get out of a pressure washer, the ones that blast walls and driveways clean. Except those pressure washers use 10 or 20 litres a minute instead of 2,000. And it runs to destruction because the alternative is a fire.
The control room, when we go there's a fire, the control room can't turn these off.
Right.
So you've got to come in here and maintenance turn them off.
Tonight, they were testing Fire Zone 4, northbound, which conveniently for me was also in County Durham, just a little way into the tunnel. This was scheduled maintenance, and it was all going to happen very quickly. They'd be closing one lane overnight, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., creating what they call a dead lane.
So 10 o'clock is about the time where traffic's light, least disruption to the northeast. We can manage all the traffic in one lane. That allows us to do cleaning works and maintenance works whilst we keep the tunnel open. And one lane open during the night is enough.
Yeah.
So we don't get any traffic jams, it's still free flowing.
To close that one lane and make it safe for the workers overnight, a vehicle has to go through the tunnel, dropping cones all the way along, and that's a process that takes 10 minutes or so. The tunnel is closed for those 10 minutes, all traffic stopped, and while that happens, they will also have a fire test in, I think, Zone 4. I'm going to be standing under it. This was their suggestion. I didn't come to them for this. They suggested this. So we followed the maintenance vehicle into the tunnel. It feels so odd to be walking through the tunnel.
Yeah, it's magnificent. And I don't know if you can see this, but there's your 2 lines there.
Yeah.
They're your mist system.
Oh.
See your mist heads there?
Yeah, okay.
So either side. So both,
I mean, let me just make sure I've got that shot.
So both sides of your lanes are covered with separate mist lines.
So we're looking at the line that's going along.
See this here? See the head there?
Yeah.
That's your jet nozzle jets.
Right, and it's not like a sprinkler head. It's not like you find in a hotel or something like that. It's very fine mist. That's really important. The mist in mist system isn't an acronym. It doesn't stand for anything. It isn't an old-style sprinkler that just dumps as much water as possible. It uses superfine mist that will evaporate very, very quickly, sucking heat out of the air and turning to water vapour, cooling down fires and even scrubbing out some of the smoke. And remember those jet fans that we talked about back in the control room? Now, I don't know how much the camera can pick up. There's sort of a gentle rotation in there.
There's something called the piston effect. As the vehicles come through, they're dragging air through.
Right.
Constantly.
I feel like I can still feel that now.
There'll still be a little bit of a draft, but when the trucks come through, you'll feel that suction of air come right way through the tunnel.
There's still a little bit of a draft, said David. He was right. And in hindsight, we should have remembered that. I don't want to lower your expectations too much, believe me. I was about to get soaked, but the plan was to stand in the middle of Fire Zone 4, hold there for about 10 seconds, and then walk forward out of it.
Just beyond that speaker there, this is your fire zone.
One thing I'd change if I filmed this again, I'd stand a bit further back because half the mist was going to be pushed away from me. A single fire zone is only 25 metres long and that mist is very, very light. We all forgot the piston effect would make a difference. If I'd stood further back, or maybe not central in the road, I could have disappeared into the mist entirely. That said, it was still an experience. When it happens, I want you to look for 3 things. First, just how much high-pressure water is coming out the nozzles in the roof and how fast it's moving. Second, how light and gentle that seems, at least by comparison, by the time it hits the ground. And third, while it might not be obvious until you see the close-ups, just how absolutely soaked I am in a couple of seconds. I brought every camera that I could. I handed them to various members of the team. Rolling. And then I tried to look composed, and I think I was, at least until I was startled by one of the loudest, most terrifying industrial noises I've ever heard. So this is what it comes down to. There's no microphone on me. And to be clear, this was their suggestion. I didn't ask for this. I put a call out. I almost managed to stay for 10 seconds. Almost.
The most startling thing about is just how incredibly cold I am.
I felt frozen because that's what mist does. It hits your skin and then your body heat evaporates it, cooling you down and leaving space for more mist to do the same. That's why it's such a good fire suppressant.
That is incredible!
I should have stayed in there for longer. I intended to. I thought I had. But it was so cold and so intense that the survival parts of my brain went, get out now, get warm. I absolutely believe that works on fires. That may not have looked like much, but that soaked me immediately. Every single bit of me. I'm so cold. And that's the point of it. The point of it is it's mist.
Transport down there, do you want it?
Yeah, I think I should probably get in there and get dry. I'm going to start shivering.
Yeah. And you go by it.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Right, choose getting in for. Yeah.
Next time, or right now on Nebula, I take a long walk on a dangerous beach and meet someone with a 500-year-old job.